Aaron Judge is off to one of the best starts in Yankees history, and that's without my guy Juan Soto in the lineup. And don't at me in the comments. But we are going to talk about all the storylines coming out of the Bronx with our New York Post Yankees beat writer for the Post, Greg Joyce. It's ironic, he's actually out in Seattle ahead of this series. Greg, thanks for hopping on with us, my man. We got some Judge talk. We've got a little bit of DJ LeMahieu news. And, of course, a little update on Marcus Stroman. So thanks for hopping on with us. I'm going to go straight into this thing, man. With all of the Soto leaving the Bronx for Queens hype that surrounded Judge this offseason, you were there down in Tampa at spring training. You saw this man prepare. You saw the work he put in for this season. Did you think that he was going to get off to such a fast start 40 games into the new season?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think even if you thought he was going to get off to a good start, I don't think anybody would have imagined this. You keep on waiting for that batting average to drop just because it's inevitable that it will. But it's now 40 games in, middle of May, and it's still over 400, 409 through 40 games. It's pretty crazy. I mean, you've seen him do some pretty special things over the last few years, and now he's doing it again this year. And the one thing is that he's always been like kind of a typically a little bit of a slow starter over the course of his career before turning it on, like once they get into the season. But usually April is one of his worst months, and obviously he put together a pretty historic April, and now is not cooling off all that much in May. So it's hard to put anything past him at this point, just given what he's shown over the last few years. But yeah, you expected at least some difference there, not having Soto in the lineup in front of him, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't really matter all that much at this point who's around him in the lineup. He's he's putting together another pretty epic 40 games here, and be interesting to see what he can do over the course of 162 now.
You talk about him getting off to a slow start in recent years. Again, you're down there at spring training. You're watching this guy prepare and get ready for an MLB season. Is there anything he did differently this year, or anything he said he did differently this year to get off to such a hot start?
Yeah, he had talked about he wanted to get some more at bats under his belt in the spring between Grapefruit League games and live at bats on backfield. So I think his target was around 40 to 50 at bats. I think last year maybe he got around 30. So he said when he kind of evaluated at the end of the season what he could have done better, he thought maybe getting some more live at bats under his belt in the spring could benefit him. So I forget what the exact number ended up being, but I think he hit that 40 to 50 marker between, actual spring games and then, live simulated games on backfield. So I think my bet would be that he's going to replicate that formula next season too, because it seems to be working pretty well for him. So he's always kind of making little tweaks like that to his preparation and stuff. And obviously, what he did this time around is gotten off to a huge start.
409 batting average, 40 games into the season. What would you say is a more impressive start to a season for hashtag All Rise, this year or the 2022 season when he hit 62?
Yeah, I mean it's you see his power all the time. I mean, 62 obviously that's a huge number. Obviously nobody's hit. People have flirted with 400. Obviously, he's a long way to go for that, but just the combination. You see these power hitters, but a lot of the power hitters are hitting low 200s, and he's a guy that has that high average and shows you the power. So I think that's the combination is pretty impressive, just because a lot of guys maybe they sell out for the power, or they have high average and don't have the power. You don't see it's pretty rare these days to see a guy that can do both. And Judge talked about, I mean, two of the guys that he's kind of looked up to as some of the top right-handed hitters in the game are Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols, who both hit around 300 for their career. And Judge talked about kind of wanting to emulate that. Batting average has kind of gotten devalued a little bit over the years here in baseball, but to Judge, it's always been important. So I think to him, the batting average is a key part of it. Obviously, the power it has always been there, but being able to be a complete hitter, I think it's an important. I know it's an important thing to him. So the Yankees are obviously benefiting from that greatly so far.
Without a doubt, he's giving something for Yankees fans and their haters to watch throughout the course of the season. To go even deeper into some of the storylines that's surrounding this team ahead of this Seattle series, I read reports that DJ LeMahieu is en route to Seattle. You think there's a chance that he's in uniform tonight? And if not, how long do you think until we see him back in action?
Yeah, I think it'll be this series, whether that's tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. He just came off playing his first back-to-back 9 innings on Saturday and Sunday, so maybe I guess there's a chance they could wait and not activate him tonight and do it tomorrow. But I think it's going to be either tonight or tomorrow. That playing that back-to-back 9 innings was kind of the last check mark, or that box that he had to check. So, he's put together some pretty good results, in the rehab assignment, which doesn't mean a whole lot once he gets back, but he seems to be in a pretty good spot. Pretty much took the full allotment of days that you can take on a rehab assignment. Had one slight hiccup in there with the hip, and he got a preemptive cortisone shot, which ended up only costing him a few days, which seems like, all things considered, it was a minor thing. But so it's a big opportunity for him to kind of come back. There's a role up there, to take for him with Jazz Chisholm out at least a couple more weeks with the oblique, maybe more. There's obviously at bats to be taken at second base. If he can show he can be, stay healthy and be productive. Obviously, another right-handed bat to complement Oswaldo Cabrera at third base too, once they do get more whole. So we'll see what he looks like when he does get activated. Obviously, it's been a struggle for DJ to, one, stay healthy, but when he has been active, to be the hitter that he's had been for most of his career. So, I mean, he had talked this spring about how important it was to him to show that he still has more left more left in the tank. So he's going to get a chance to prove it here pretty soon.
All right, Greg, before I let you go, because I know you have to get over to the stadium, let's switch gears and talk pitching for a little bit. Aaron Boone said Sunday that Marcus Stroman threw a live session Friday in Tampa, but he's still feeling knee discomfort. Ryan Yarbrough started Sunday, and he could be a starter for, I guess, the foreseeable future. So, two-part question here. Can we get an update on Stro? And do you think that the Yankees have any worries about the rotation 40 games into the season?
Yeah, I think I'll answer that second part first. I think they certainly have some concern about the depth, which has been a problem since spring training, even before Garrett Cole and Luis Seal went down. And then now it's been about a month since Stroman last pitched. And so that's it's a concern that Stroman, like I said, it's been about a month and that knee still hasn't gotten better. I wouldn't be surprised that maybe if he goes for more tests this week just to kind of see if there's anything else in there. I mean, he's gotten some shots in there in recent weeks to try to help to get some of that swelling out. And it seemed like it had been going well to advance him to a point where he threw it live on Friday. But the fact that it's kind of still lingering there, maybe it just needs time. But it's got to be at least a little bit concerning that it hasn't gone away at this point when they've given him at least a couple of weeks here. He'd continue to play catch, but Friday was the most intense that he had thrown at since going on the IL, and that he was still feeling it there. It's a concern. Brian Yarbrough has been a big pickup for them. It happened, I think, just a couple days before opening day, and kind of looked at it. He's a guy who's done the swing man between the bullpen and the rotation over the course of his career, and done it pretty well. So he had thrown the ball well out of the bullpen, and now he's seems like he's going to get a run here out of the rotation because they don't have anybody. Stroman still seems like the closest starter back. Luis Hill is still pretty early in his throwing program. Probably isn't getting back until next month at the earliest. So they kind of need some guys to hold down the fort until that happens. They have Alan Winans at AAA pitching pretty well, but he's kind of the only guy, at least on the 40 man, that's in a position to help down at AAA. So they're kind of in a bind a little bit until they get healthier. That still seems like something they're going to address at the trade deadline, but obviously still got a couple months to go before that. So they're going to have guys like Yarbrough continue to step up, and he's kind of still building up his pitch count too, because he had been throwing in some shorter spurts earlier this season. But he's given them exactly what they need so far, and obviously need that to continue here.
All right, Greg, Joyce, thanks for the update. Enjoy Seattle, and we'll see you in a couple of days for the Subway Series.
You got it. Thanks, Brandon.